So let's contemplate and sort of recap what I guess the cell phone and specifically the video recording, sharing, upload apparatus of the internet. So what has kind of happened is, for a while, any moment could potentially make you more popular or even make you famous, right? So people started photographing stuff that they were doing, then taking videos of it, and then what got to be really popular was conversations. So people would have conversations with each other about topics, and it turned into sort of a performance, right? It was kind of like giving an interview, but it's this podcast thing is performative conversation. Like if you know you're being filmed, you automatically present yourself as the character you want to be presented as, right? You try not to do anything that you wouldn't want to be filmed or that you wouldn't want to be broadcast to everything, and it just kind of changes your mentality. And so people started doing that all the time, listening to that all the time, right? So the people's main source of news or information here for a while is, or at least for a bit, shifted to podcasts and performative conversation. So how did you learn this? Oh, I got this from a performative conversation between two people. And I've tried to do podcasts before, and it's just there's no way to. I'm very sensitive to psychological shifts, and I just sort of express them, right? Like I'm very emotive. I'm very receptive to certain energies. And the energy, whenever the podcast or whenever the camera comes on, the main energy is performative for everyone there. And some people pretend to not be performative. They perform like they're not being performative, which they would call authenticity. But it's just kind of the position of consciously turning the camera on, going from unfilmed to candid to intentionally filmed. That causes a different aspect of the personality to come out. And everybody knows the camera is on all the time, right? And it changes the consciousness, it changes the performance. That's the main reason people don't want to be surveilled by the state, but we ultimately are surveilling ourselves. We're shifting our consciousness ourselves into the performative consciousness. Mostly performing for attention or performing to not get attention, right? I don't want anybody looking at me, so I'm going to perform in such a way that I don't get attention. Which you can have that happen from, trauma or what have you. That's like me with my intellectual ideas, my academia ideas. I was traumatized by academia, and so I became an academic. I gained 30 or 40 pounds. I'm not academically attractive anymore. Maybe a little stretch. Maybe there's something going on there. But it's performative when the camera's on. I turn these drives into little performances, and we've lost that's happening all the time. So you've literally lost a state of consciousness where you're not thinking, is this good enough for everyone's It's just this thing in the background, right? And it's like, it's what you eat. Like the degree to which you eat this type of information to generate your worldview, you go into that world. It's like unavoidable. This is the world of performance. This is the world of illusion. It's the world of inversion. Right? The medium is the message. And so people have been getting their news sources, like, and you could say like the news, the government, it's all performative. And everyone knows it's performative. And they say at the deepest levels it's performative because we have this blackmail stuff, and they go, do this. So they perform that. They go, hey, we are editing the performance. Right? The play has been hijacked. The reason it can be hijacked is because it's a play. If it's not a play, you can't hijack it, because there's like true patriotism and true loyalty and like true everything. You can't hijack that. You can't blackmail that. But because everybody was already performative, you can blackmail everybody and just put them on a different script. Right? And so the entire world is this way. Everything given to everybody is scripted. At this point, it's scripted. It goes through an editing process, and it's delivered by actors. And then everyone's clamoring for the jobs of being those actors. And it's a frenzied collective consciousness, like one of those like the group. I don't want to be so harsh as to call it psychosis, or it's bonding. It's a type of group bonding. So everyone is bonded over this collective obsession with acting and drama and performance, and being led by actors, being led by performers, worshiping performers, right? Getting the very facts and creating your worldview from performative conversation. The AKA the podcast. The camera's on. Even though you could view the video screen is a performer. Like the video screen is performing before you what happened somewhere else. Right? You're still looking at something that is kind of virtual, right? Which is ignoring, like, these two worlds are right there. And so there was like I don't know, before all this there was a deep layer of reality that was like genuine, I guess. And then some superficial beings rose up to the surface of that, like the most shallow superficial part, and then get moved all about. Or whatever, but the bulk of it was deep, genuine being or truth between people, tribes, cultures, whatever, races, groups, forests. Like things were just happening, and they were happening right there. And then as things began to be like recorded, written down, written about, known about, monitored, everyone kind of remote viewing all of that, right? Like all of the cameras are plugged in one way or another into like social media, into X, into the news site, into the internet. Every camera on Earth is plugged into the internet, and everyone puts their ears against the internet through their browser portals to sort of remote view whatever it chooses to present to them, right? The internet basically has a system of algorithms, and everyone's like looking at it, saying like, what is this thing going to present to me today? and you can like ask it to present you something different, but all the search results are curated, all the AI stuff is curated, the post you get to see between your friends is curated, and you can kind of see things one by one, but you can't really see an aggregate other than what it wants to show you. You have to piece together the aggregate on your own, which is how it's always been, right? People are going, oh, that's how the ego works. Anybody that escapes the aggregate auto sorting thing of the ego, that's how it works. Oh, and the internet is just this physical embodiment, this physical manifestation of this inner biological process. And the internet is like this reflection or this mirror of sort of the astral plane, or of these higher mental realms that exist, like virtual, like, you know, Xbox exists, shared dreams exist, massive multiplayer online games exist in everyone's mind, and that what you see on the screen, Halo Deathmatch, that's a reflection of a shared mental resonance. Everyone's playing the same game, separated by time and space, imagining the same things they can talk about later. It's real. And so that mental space is capable of doing that. The Xbox just facilitates it. And so the whole world is constantly doing this astral projection, astral dreaming thing, like going into these hypnotic sleep states, these trances that are this hypnotic trance state, normally only explored by certain shamans and initiates. The dreaming plane has been completely colonized, and not only is it colonized, it's sucking in the entire global civilization, like sucking the life force dry out of people, sucking the attention, sucking all the attention from the physical space into the virtual image, the icon. And that attention needs to be given to like real gods, like real beings, real entities of that plane, or they don't give back, right? So it's sucking the attention for these like higher cosmic circuits into itself. And so everyone has this like heavily curated feed given to them, and then also the power to like, it gives you the power to remote view anywhere on Earth almost, and have telepathy with almost anybody. Subject to monitoring. It lets you have all these things in a performative way. There's no unmonitored connections, right? The internet makes it so that there is no unmonitored connections between people. That's its purpose. Like ultimately, if you want to look at the ultimate purpose of the internet, so there's no unmonitored connections between people. Stability and abundance in life emerges from the unmonitored connections between people, which is the unscripted, unmediated, authentic actions within which we nurture each other's souls, right? So within these monitored connections, it's very difficult to nurture the soul, just as it's as difficult it is to hug each other through the virtual connection. I mean, sort of, and you can kind of get sappy about it, but even if you're like, man, if you're looking at this screen and it's pulling out an emotional reaction, I hate to say it, but it's probably mentally as healthy as getting aroused by pornography, right? Like if you're at a funeral you're not attending, it's really the same thing as being at a coital rendezvous without attending and being emotionally moved by either one. Right, so everybody's like emotional systems, the limbic systems and stuff are being calibrated towards places, people, and events that they're not near, and so those responses become, what do you call it, parasocial, and they go towards the parasocial focusee, right? And so then that parasocial focus sucks energy and attention away from the local environment that would be getting that person's attention. If they were putting more of that attention into their family circle, friend circle, social circle, like that attention that would go towards the parasocial, like you see this happening even with music, right? Like as you begin to be able to broadcast your vibe and your sound everywhere, people everywhere could just pick your sound, and then that attention that would have gone towards local artists goes away, and so the big bands get bigger and the small bands go away because nobody has the attention to listen. And so that's what all kind of celebrity does, and in some sense you could say, like, hey, maybe we should have some celebrities, and there's probably a balance. Like, you know, it made more sense back in the day when you had to go through a filtering process to become famous. You know, you had to be, you had to go to Hollywood it kept it down to the, genuinely interesting or genuinely talented people. And it's good to see that stuff, right? Like celebrity fame on a national or global scale is cool because it's cool that everyone gets to see that. That inspires everybody, right? Does that inspire everybody? That's the type of celebrity that you would want at those larger levels. But you don't want, it's like mid-tier local Jane over here is just a little bit better than the version of it over here, so why not watch her on the internet? Right? And you could say maybe the intense competition causes, but I think ultimately it just eats it. Because ultimately you would want to build an unrecorded, like, quote-unquote secret local audience. And you want it to be secret and private, not in the sense that you're trying to do something sneaky or have secrets, but it's just in these unrecorded, authentic situations does anything real happen. And so, like, the real or the truth is often, it's going to be scandalous or crazy, like, oh my gosh, to a world drowning in illusion and secrets and performative, like whatever. Like, imagine a bunch of people sitting around saying something true, but really it's not that interesting, right? It's just normal. But if you're not at very least normal, you're not going to say anything profound. And a lot of people that are drawn towards the truth of, like, seeking this normal, they want the truth because of the performative impact it will have. When the truth actually takes you out of the play and places you in the secret. Where you don't have any influence over the play. It's like a secret room. This is the secret room. And so the majority of life used to take place in the secret room, in the womb. Like, what we call the past was the womb, and we've been birthed into the what is the public, the performance. And so then what's the goal? Like, is the Messiah somebody who can get on stage and not be acting? Like, does it stop? Is there a way to stop the play? Would you want to stop the play? How is the secret supposed to mix with the public? Like, the secret isn't information, it's a type of consciousness. Right? The secret feminine, the yin and the yang, the feminine is a secret, not in something I'm going to whisper gently to you, but in a, I'm not even going to look. And then the masculine I'm going to look, tell, and see. And so that masculine includes all known feminine, which is really funny. That's why all the feminists end up as patriarchal, whatever. Everything speakable goes towards the patriarchal because it rules that territory. Everything unspeakable goes towards the feminine because it rules that territory. But the only way to understand or know that stuff is to turn off the camera. You can't go there for any sort of personal gain, any sort of known conscious thing. It can't be brought into the play. Like, and if you want to go backstage and resolve disputes with the actor, the director, the writer, right? Like, if you genuinely feel like you're not performing and you want to not genuinely hate somebody or whatever from the falsities from the illusions of the world or what have you, then you go back into the secret room, and that's just simply off the play. It's off their performance. So you can check. You can. Right? Like, if you go off their performance and you see that somebody is still performing, then you know they're stuck in character. So it's like you can't take that personally. They're mentally ill. One of your fellow actors. But you can resolve issues in the unspoken space, the feminine space, underwater, so to speak, where you can't talk. You can't talk underwater very well, if at all. Most people can't breathe underwater. Yeah, the medium is the message, right? What's the medium of political opinions? Political theater. The world is ruled by the theater kids. Central casting. 33. And that play runs the world, and whoever runs the play runs the world. So there's sort of extras in the play. There's people like running the play. There's people trying to influence the play. And then there's people trying to influence the people who are influencing the play. guess the only way to keep it real, right, to keep the performance matching reality, you just have to keep the reality matching the performance. Like if you're going to get up and have a big audience online to stay sane, you would probably need a large in-person thing. My ladder's vibrating. One time I got a free oil change at my Subaru dealer. I got a Crosstrek. I was living, no, just, I'm not gonna make that joke. And they didn't put the oil plug in, so my oil dumped out of on the highway. And my oil pressure light came on, and like I pulled over as quick as I could and shut it off, but some bearing or something ended up, something that needed oil pressure ended up going bad, and they ended up like just having to totally replace the engine. Which was cool. Kinda. I mean, it's a funny mistake.